We also want to share that she is the founder, of the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards launched in 2017. She is the CEO of LeKeisha Cotten Enterprises. She has toured with McDonald's Inspirational Celebration Gospel. She sang over to 40,000 people audience, where she has also appeared on Joel Osteen's church in Houston, Texas, when she went to the McDonald's Inspiration Celebration. And we have none other than her spouse. When I tell you they are allies in the kingdom, Curtis Cotten, he is an anointed musician. He is Primerica Senior Regional Leader. I am so sorry, I'm just nervous and excited all at the same time. And I'm using a new tool, so pardon me, user error and some things. But he is a graduate, 2001 graduate of D'Iberville High School along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He has also played football. He was standout. He is a stellar athlete. He was the standout football player and stellar athlete at D'Iberville High School. After graduating high school with honors, top honors may I add, he enrolled into Mississippi Valley State, was granted a full choir scholarship. During his matriculation in college, he was a member of the university choir and show choir. Curtis graduated with honors in 2005, receiving his BS degree in health and physical education and recreation in 2012. He earned a master's degree at Williams Carey. So we also want to honor him because he empowers family. He does workshops, wealth workshops. And his spiritual motto is, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. His business motto is, let me change your life. So he's committed to changing lives and changing families' lives. So we want to introduce you all to LeKeisha and Curtis Cotten. Thank you for coming on. Okay. Excited.
Thank you, Katrina, for having us. Oh my goodness. It's just a blessing to be on the oil.
It's such an amazing blessing
yes, indeed.
to grace us with your presence. We are super excited. So, of course, it's a new tool for me. I have used the prior tools, so bear with me with some technical things, but I am going to work through this because, like you said, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So you have a lot going on as a family, as you reach the world. Can you share with us a little bit about some upcoming events? LeKeisha, I know that you are, hosting an event that's coming up. Can you share some information about that with us?
Yes, thank you, for just having us tonight. And it's just a blessing to be on this platform. We know Sister Katrina, she was working hard to get us live, broadcasting on Facebook. So we prayed that it was up, and trying to just get on her platform is just a blessing. But yes, as Sister Katrina said, I'm the founder of the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards and the CEO of LeKeisha Prizes. I also have an LLC. It's all music and theater performing arts based. The Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards has serviced over 2,000 nominees, award recipients, musicians, singers, community leaders, first responders, those that serve in our community, theater, drama, dance, spoken word, mainly just anything surrounding the arts. That is a passion of mine. My husband and I actually met on those premises. We went to college together at Mississippi Valley State University. For those that are watching, we met at Mississippi Valley State University, the Delta, which that's my home, Indianola. and we were in Indianola, Mississippi, and we traveled the world together singing in the university choir. So our foundation, our basis is all music. My husband is my musician. He plays for me at church. So he's the minister, the music director there. I'm the minister of music. And at our church, Faith Works Ministries in Long Beach, shout out to our pastor. And our first lady and our church family. But yes, the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards this year is in its 4th year. As we know, the pandemic has changed everything for everybody. So we're making some adjustments, but this year we've garnered over 80,000 votes, even in a pandemic, from the U.S. and 7 countries, which is huge. And prayerfully, should the Lord say the same, we will be launching the 4th year. September this year, September 26th in Biloxi, Mississippi. We're still, on the fence about how we're actually going to do it, because we're trying to find other methods. With a crowd that large, 2,000 plus people, we probably won't be able to, convene, but we're still coming to honor all of those. We've got 2 countries represented this year, so it's a blessing, not just in the music, but on top of helping my husband or assisting my husband, standing alongside him and his business, my husband's business, Cotten and Associates, of which he is the spearhead. He is the driver, and I'm his admin. I'm his armor bearer. So.
Absolutely. Oh, what can I say? Miss Katrina, it's just a pleasure and a blessing to be here and to be a part of the oil, the show. Hey, we excited. We super excited. We don't take this lightly. It's a blessing to even be breathing and to be in this place right now. I don't know who needs to hear our story tonight, but we truly hope that we be a blessing to somebody in their places at this moment and at this time that we're gracing this dome. So I'm excited. I'm sitting here, man. I always tell people I'm married up. I'm excited. You can't see that. I'm exploding on the inside. Boy, she makes me look 10 times better than I always will ever be. So let me just say that off the back. But Ms. Katrina, we're excited. We see the smiles and things that we want to share tonight. I hope it just really encouraged somebody out there struggling with something. And our story, look, I always tell people this. You can always go far in life. If you go alone, you may go somewhere, but if you go together, you can go far. So my wife and I, we've been partners, and we're together. I mean, ain't nothing coming in between this unit, this majesty right here that the Lord has blessed us with. So thank you again. So we're gonna move on and keep it rolling.
And I love it. I love it. That's why I invited you all here, because you are true. I have gone into places and spaces where you feel the tension. There are couples, and I'm not throwing shade. We all work through things, and God does things in our lives, and we're all growing. But I have walked in spaces and places where you see that there's tension and competition, even between the couples. Even between their union, and you have gracefully every time I've been in your presence, every event, everything I have ever witnessed, you all are such strong allies. And I'm not saying that nobody has had that struggle in the past, but whatever you have, it is a blessing to see, and it's a blessing to see that you are true allies and true supporters. If I call Curtis, he is always willing to share, hey, let me share this with you, but I'm going to include my wife, and likewise with LeKeisha. So when we talk about marriage, that's the bonds that strengthen, that you all are so considerate and respectful. And I know that may seem like, oh, that should just normally be, but that takes some intentionality, that takes consideration. And you can hear that even in Curtis announcing who you are to him, that he married up. He did an upgrade. He knows what the Bible says when it comes to a woman, his good thing, his blessing, that he married favor. So you can see that and feel it and sense it and it's so intense and loving. So share with us, how do you continue to work through those things in your marriage? Just awesome.
Well, thank you, Katrina, for saying that. I mean, it really just, it's a blessing to, you know, that other people can look at us and say what they see, what we display, what we exude. But I tell you that it's not easy. It's real. And to be transparent, my husband and I have experienced so many things. This year will make 13 years that we've been married. But at the very top of our marriage, we experienced some of the most horrific strain and stresses on our marriage that almost took us down. From 3 miscarriages. We experienced 3 miscarriages back to back. My calling into the ministry as a licensed minister, that also almost took us down. You know, we adopted our daughter, Maddie, and it didn't take us down. That actually brought us up, but it was a challenge. Being very young, marriage, and then bringing in my sick grandmother who raised me into our home, which another challenge that almost took us down. You know, so many things that we really came out of the gate running in our marriage, that we were experiencing or partaking in things that seasoned marriages would do, adopting and caring, you know, being a caregiver. And we were somewhere between 1 to 3 years in our marriage. And so it was so much trauma that on the back end of that, it was so much trauma. My husband lost all of his hair. And he ended up on high blood pressure medicine. Wow. And so even in the midst of that, me having gestational diabetes in every pregnancy, our daughter being allergic to all foods almost, and my grandmother being a dialysis patient, having kidney issues, it was a strain on the marriage trying to learn how to cook the right foods. This one is, you know, can't have salt. This one can't have seafood. This one can't have sugar. This one can't have water, you know. Right. And so that was a strain. It was so many things that we could have. I mean, the odds were against us. So many times we could have, and probably in those moments should have, but God helped us through that. You know, I told my brother-in-law, well, my future brother-in-law, let's say that. I told my sister-in-law, she's dating this phenomenal young man, and they're still young and they're feeling their way. And if I could give some advice to a young couple, newly engaged, newly married, or maybe dating, I would say these are the gritty moments. Those are the gritty moments in your marriage that builds so much character. I can say all day, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, but wait until your spouse is in the bathroom, passed out on the floor, unconscious. That was me. And I didn't even know it. And my husband, we were probably 3 or 4 years into the marriage, and he's hovering over me. And the way he tells it, like he's slapping me, he's trying to wake me up, and I didn't even know that I had passed out. And, you know, wait until the time comes when it's really the test. Can you really, you know, step up to the plate? And so dealing with all of that, surgeries and hospitals and money issues. I mean, we had some money issues.
Money. Oh, man.
I got upset, and I was like, I'm going to get my own bank account.
Yeah.
And I did, and it didn't work out. Because we couldn't see eye to eye, but those were the times when it was like, you know, you either fight or flight.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah. And I want to add to that, because as we talk about those money deals, I don't know who's out there listening and paying attention to this, but I had to realize in this family, you know, you got to think about, you know, we're not in competition with each other. I went to some marriage counseling. I like to say coaching, but you have to think that, you know, you complement, or you complement each other. You don't compete. Right. So my wife is talking about those different challenges in the beginning of the marriage. Those of you that are out there listening right now, I know there's married couples. When you talk about money, money is the #1 leading cause of a divorce. And you gotta have some kind of compromising mindset when
yes.
it deals with talking about your money. So yes, we went through some challenges in the beginning, and I thank God that my wife could hear from the Lord up above. She had a relationship with him. Let me tell you something. You gotta have a relationship with Christ if you want to stay with this man right here. He made me, but I know I was a challenge all by myself. You talk about something like dealing hard with. So yeah, so I mean, I know the women, y'all laughing, but it's real.
No.
To be able to deal with a guy like me, you know, you need heaven, you need the Lord, you need all three of them, all of that, you know. So yeah, we thank God that He blessed us. He didn't let us quit. He continued to give us grace, and He continued to give us mercy, and He continued to give us perseverance through our tough times. Yes, I wanted to leave a lot of times. Yeah, because it was hard.
Yes, Lord, we had some divorce threats.
It was hard.
Oh my goodness. So
yeah,
thank God we don't look like what we've been through or going through, but it works on both ends of the spectrum. Like, it takes a praying woman to deal with a man like him. It also takes a praying man to deal with a woman like me. So God will teach you how to love each other.
Yes, indeed. That is so true.
You actually just reminded me of a story that I read in a leadership article from Stephen Covey's. I can't even remember the title, but it blessed me so much because it said, when an infection comes or an issue comes, the cells rush to heal that infected part. So what you're made of in the gritty times, in the hard times, even if it's a challenge for those cells and those you know, the white blood cells and the red blood cells to do what they're supposed to do in the immune system and the brain to function. It may be a challenge, but their goal, their intention, their commitment is to fight that infection.
Oh yes.
And so what you're made of in the tough times shows in those tough times. And then I hear commitment, I hear intentionality, I hear we're going to rush to this thing, even if we're not seeing eye to eye and we're having some challenges. And then you also mentioned counseling. Sometimes the Bible tells us to seek wise counsel. So those things that we're not equipped to handle, we seek not people that's going to gossip, not people that's not going to pray, but people that can provide wise counsel. So there's a lot of rich nuggets that you've shared with us already. Usually I slate this show for 30 minutes, but there is so much richness in you too. I knew that we needed at least shoot for an hour. So, and I'm not committing to that length of time, but I knew I needed to set some good time because there's so much we need to hit on with you too. So as you talk about a marriage and being committed and having that mind to seek wise counsel and having that mind to believe in one another, that this is the gift that God gave us. He gave us this union. So this is not a mistake. This is something we're going to work with, and we're going to present it to God, and we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
So when did you all decide, hey, let's do business together? Because I even hear people say, couples that say, I love them, but I can't do business with them. And you all pull that off so well.
Well, let me start with the music side, because we actually came into the business aspects, my music business. So, and I also had a wedding business. I still have a wedding business where I decorate and do flowers and help brides and coordinate events. And on top of all of that, you can hear our toddler in the background. He's just.
And I was about to say, Mr. Curtis, you don't have to worry about those daddy eyes.
He is just
glancing at him.
He's gonna talk. So my husband, starting out in the marriage, my husband wasn't a business owner. He operated a business with his family, which was a lawn service business that branched off amongst the brothers. But I came into the marriage with the business. I wanted to buy all the property, all the land where we live in Gulfport, Mississippi, where the Sam's is. It was not there when we bought our home back in '08. And it was just field, and it was flat land or brush. And I was like, oh my God, I can see it in the spirit. Let's buy this land. And he was like, you crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we can put a shopping center there. We can put a grocery store. We can put gas stations. I could just see it. My in-laws would tell you. But my husband at the time was not a risk taker. But he showed so much compromise and so much support with me in my wedding business and my music business, giving and supporting me, traveling all around the country. And then he got the bug, the entrepreneurial bug. And so it was like, now it's time for me to support him. And the funny thing is, I was a slow mover into my business. I had a progression, a steady progression. But my husband, he did a nosedive, like boom. He went clean into the business, all in, walked away from his job, of which I was still a little like, oh my goodness, no, don't do that, you know. But he did. He walked away from his job that he was a school teacher for 13 years, 12 years, 12 or 13 years,
15, yeah.
Almost 15 years. He's school bus driver, football coach, baseball coach, PE teacher. He was the health and wellness coordinator for the school district. I mean, he was completely engulfed in his district. And he just walked away and said, I'm going to do this thing if you with me or not. But I had to get on board. And so it's a challenge even now, because with the pandemic, everybody's working from home. And so we've got his office, my office, and then that one, the daddy, the toddler. Yeah. So my hat goes out to anybody that has more than one and doing it from home, you know. So it's a challenge, but supporting him in what he needs, whether he succeeds or fails, whether I succeed or fail, we do it together, and then we learn how not to fail.
Yes. I certainly agree with that. Yes. I can attest to that. My husband supports me on so many endeavors. I have my hands in so many things, entrepreneur, and sometimes I have to kind of figure some things out. And he has been so patient to allow me to grow. So I understand that perception of having that partner that wants you to grow and understands that sometimes you may make mistakes. Sometimes it may not come easy, or you may even quote unquote fail, but learning from it and having each other's back no matter what. That is so amazing. So, Mr. Cotten, you, as your wife said, you are an entrepreneur. Tell us some of the things that you do and some of the things that you offer.
Well, look, I just also like to say, well, just to hit off what my wife was saying with the entrepreneur, I did take a nosedive because I understood it's on the inside. I've always had a work ethic that nobody could take away from me. I thank God for my mom and my dad, who really just, I'm talking about implanted in me to work hard about anything you do. I don't care what it is, you're going to give your best effort. And so I realized I needed to take those tools that my dad implanted in me from birth up until where I'm at now to the stage of my life. I understood hard work. It never goes unnoticed. And so when I worked hard, I believe that I love what I did teaching people. It was always a passion on the inside. Now, but as a young boy, my daddy was a teacher. He taught school. He taught kids. They respected him. Tons of families were, and I'm talking about touched from the things that he done when he was, in his teaching years. And I said, I'd never be a teacher. Isn't that crazy? How many of y'all out there that said you have parents as teachers, you'd never be a teacher? But that was me. And I realized I turned that thing around and I actually went and became a teacher. But I know my entrepreneur mindset. I love to have the opportunity to just be able to empower people, to create freedom for families. What am I offering people? Look, so many people out here right now are living in their day-to-day lives that live paycheck to paycheck or paycheck to broke. And so my wife and I talked about our family. Look, finances is a huge deal. You can't go nowhere without it. When people say money, look, when people say money and everything, I say, well, give me yours then. Because listen, you got to think about this. Money really, really helps people, give them a lot of options.
Yes.
I want to be able to help families with the options that they want to give their children. We're talking about giving financial wealth to people.
Yes.
Look, I have a work ethic that is untouchable. I felt like, man, if I could go out here and I could give my family an opportunity to be able to have something and be able to give them something and leave them something. See, I wanted to leave my son something so that he can have a head start in life when he gets out and get old enough to realize what it is. But work ethic, I can't coach laziness. Work ethic is where it's at. You either have it or you don't. My wife and I, we love business. We love the opportunity to help encourage people that are out there struggling with their own businesses. Yeah. Look, it's not easy. Anything worth having, you got to work for it. You have to work for it. I don't care what you say. You got to go get it. So God has put us on a journey to be able to enlighten people. And as we go through this journey, we're taking so much. Yes. We're learning so much. How to treat people, how to love people, how to care for people, how to educate people. People are imparting to us. My wife and I, we're not afraid to know that if we don't know something, let's go get some help. Go get help with what you do. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with asking for why it's canceled. There's nothing wrong with that. I get fired up, Miss Katrina. I'm not gonna. I have to hold back sometimes because this gets so exciting to me when I talk to family.
No, you go ahead and you talk, brother. I mean, we are enjoying you.
It really helps me to be able to see somebody that I can take from point A and get them to point B. Yes. I don't care what that is. It may be, I just need a listening ear. I may have to be that doormat for somebody, or I may have to come in somebody's house and help them get from point A to point B, create a foundation for them with their financials. We help families in so many ways. And now with my wife, she's been a partner like no other. Like, you need encouragement. I don't care who you are. When I'm down and I'm weak, she lifts me up. Amen. When I'm strong and she's down, I'm going to lift her up. Amen. You got to be together on this deal. We're a unit, right? We're so close. There's nothing that can come inside and separate us. That's right. Now, it's the second thing I like to say. When me and my wife, where I'm weak, she really, really, really strong. I didn't realize that at first. We didn't. Look, I'm telling you right now, I can take a small example. Some of you guys on here that are watching, you know you don't want your wife to tell you how to run a computer. You think you know how to do it all. It's like you got to show them you know it. It ain't always like that. God gives her the strengths and abilities in areas that I'm weak in. So when we came together, we were able to complement each other. Yes. We were able to complete each other. My wife is like the most lovable person out there. I used to burn bridges with people. My wife would tell me for years, you don't want to do that. The bridges are hard to cross back over. I didn't want to listen. My head was hard. My daddy told my butt up with that board because I stayed in trouble. But my wife would tell you, at this point now, I wish I would have listened. We laugh about that all the time. I wish I would have listened to this lady. For some reason, she came to me, it just felt like she was already a grown woman. Already. Right. Already ready to go. Like, you know, it was a problem. It was like, I need to go through a process. She was already there. Yes. I'm just arriving. I feel like I'm just arriving sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm on this. I'm excited, but I can't keep going on and on and on. I want to allow this opportunity to go because somebody need to hear our story so that they can get past their hurdle.
Amen. Amen. So you did mention that you're in business and that you share wealth building tips and tools. So can you tell us your title, where you work, your work ethic and your team and all of that.
Absolutely. So look, I'm with Cotten Consulting. We are independent contractors, and we love to help families. What we do is what we offer. Our team is growing so large down here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. We want to expand out there, and we want to open up offices along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. We want to open up in other states. You know, this platform here is amazing tonight. But listen, Cotten Consultants, we actually love to want to open up offices of Mississippi State all around the country. To be honest with you, there's tons of people out there that need this kind of help financially. People want to be able to live for freedom. People want to retire. Most people will not be able to. What is retirement? Time and money.
Not age.
Listen, it's not an age.
That's right.
Tell families that.
That's right.
Time and money. I've never heard nobody complain about neither one or having too much of either one. So let me say this. Let me go on with this. You can't take this away. If you don't hear nothing else we say tonight, people want to have freedom. And whatever that may mean to you, okay? But I guarantee you gotta have some kind of way where you create some type of money where it can pay you passively when you get to an age where you're not working. And so let me say this. There's a lot of people, when they get to a retirement age, and they always click this to be 65, 70 years old, their bones are aching, they're toe up, they're wore out. They're not able to go back and sling that job like they could when they were younger.
Right.
You're gonna need some type of money to help you get what you need to take care of your livelihood. So we just want to help you able to create that. And then on the other side of this, I'm so, it just touches my heart because I've seen this and I see it daily. Families will leave their family broke if somebody dies prematurely. We don't like to see that happen at all.
Right.
If you want to take responsibility, do this for me tonight. Please go out here and protect your family. Protect your family. How do you protect your family? Get some life insurance. Help your family be able to know that, man, if I die tonight, my wife is going to be pretty much able to move on with her life. Right. Most men that don't want to take responsibilities of their family today, I sometimes wish if they would have died and they come back, they'd see the mess they created and left. Because it's bad. So I don't want to get into that. But like I said, it's just something that we need to help families understand. Take responsibility, men. I challenge all of you. Take responsibility and take care of your family while you yet live, have breath in your body at this moment. Yeah. I promise you. So that's like the long or the short.
The short of the long.
Well, when you mention taking care of your family, that is one thing that the Bible teaches that men ought to do, is to provide. So there needs to be something in place. Not only some people say, well, when I lived, I have this set up for them, but what about legacy wealth? What about leaving in case something happens to you, man, that your wife is not struggling or having to depend on the church or relatives or all of that type of thing, but that you left her so secure with wisdom and guidance, and apparently taught, and she was willing to learn some things of how to manage money and all of that, that she should be very, very well off in the process in her lasting days. And so also not just being so short-sighted, but having legacy wealth for your children, your grandchildren. And, sometimes we throw shade as Christians to some of the entertainers, but there's a song Beyonce sings, Boss, and she says, that's a lot of brown children on your Forbes list. So she's not just talking about her babies, but she's talking about her great grandchildren, that they are so secure and so ahead of the game that there's wealth. So, and no, you don't have to be an entertainer. God gives us wisdom. So yes.
I want to say this too, Miss Katrina. thank you for bringing that up. This is so powerful. This is important. Wealth building takes time. People, and I really like to say this, how many of you all see that there is wealth that's being left to children's children? How many of y'all see that? You know, I don't see that hardly nowhere at all. You know, the first thing I always see is some person will say, I ain't leaving my kids nothing. Why? I don't understand. But I just want to know that, look, the Bible speaks hardly on that. We need to leave our children's children some wealth.
Yes.
Give them an opportunity to get ahead so that they can be a blessing to their families.
Yes.
That's just really powerful to me.
And I'll add to that as well, that because your reputation while you live, the reputation while you're living, for example, you work so hard to be a professional business person, you make a wonderful name for yourself, you're known in every city, you're known in multiple states, you've accomplished so much, you even got a Nobel Peace Prize, but then you pass away and then you leave such ruins behind for your loved ones or your spouse. It's embarrassing. As my husband said, what if you could come back and see the mess that you left? You know, it's ruins. And so I would be embarrassed, you know, if my husband's around here teaching and coaching other families, and to say he didn't secure his own family, I'd be afraid to show my face in church, in the community, you know, trying to figure out how to lay my husband to rest with dignity, you know. It's stress. It's stress, if but for anything, to relieve the stress and strain from your family that's already grieving the passing of you.
Speak on it. Speak on it. We're just enlightened about this information, and I hope it helps somebody. I hope it reaches somebody. I hope it turns over a leaf. I hope it turns over a new accountability to the families that are out there. We don't take it lightly that we're on this platform. I guarantee you, anything we share today, we just want to be a blessing. Somebody needs to hear this, and
you can feel and sense your passion. You can feel and sense your passion.
Yeah. I've been passionate about anything I put my hand on. I want folks to feel it on the inside of me. This ain't no joke. It's serious. It's really serious to me that I love what I do, and I hope that somebody can be blessed and encouraged to be moving forward with whatever they got in their life. We want to leave this too. Ms. Katrina, I always talked about finances with people, but I always tell families, if you don't have a foundation on your financial home, if you don't have a foundation, then when a storm comes, it will crumble. It will fall. It will shake it up and completely destroy itself. God, what are you talking about? Well, look, most people don't think about this, but foundations on your financial home is your income. You need that. You need it protected, or you need to have it saved. And most people need it protected because they ain't got it saved. Yeah. So I just want to leave that with that. Everybody's got to deal with this. Everybody try to win the money game in some phase in their life. But thank God that he gave me an opportunity to be able to come out. He gave me a direction. I'll give him the most honor praise. Family, men out there that need an uplifting at this point, be encouraged. Just be encouraged, man. You're not by yourself.
That's
I think about this. I'm in all kind of men leadership groups. I know whenever we have the chances to come together as men, there's power in numbers. When you get together and you talk and you believe in what you're doing, you're encouraged, you're empowered, you're enlightened to go out there and go for another day to chase whatever you have, whatever you're trying to do. So I just want to leave that with the men on here. Whoever watching, men, go for it. Go hard. Go to the paint. Yes. You might as well. You already there. You might as well go hard. Don't take it light. So anyway, we thank God for this opportunity. We really do. Miss Katrina, you're a blessing. You're a blessing. I'm encouraged just by you sitting here and talking to us tonight to go far, go to another time, go to a new level, get to the highs. You know, I want to leave this. I keep talking. Go ahead, Miss Katrina.
I'm listening.
this is on the inside of me right now. This just came to my spirit. This came in my mind. My pastor was preaching on Sunday, and he said, "There's a word have I hidden in my heart. Not the word have in my, but the lamp is a light unto my path. My feet is a light. Yeah, feet is a light unto my path. Yeah." It was so on the inside that the Lord has given us. If we get in His Word and we get revelation, we'll be able to create that journey for ourselves with the light. He didn't say the light was on down at your feet, but you got to activate your light to be able to see your journey down that road. So when you get in your Word, you get that revelation. Oh my goodness, that was powerful to me. You can see the journey that you're trying to go. So men that need to hear that, activate your light.
It's so good.
Turn your lamp on so you can get to where you need to go.
Oh, that's good.
That really helped me.
That's so good.
I know we've talked a lot about marriage, and you touched on some things earlier, Miss LeKeisha, when you said you brought in your grandmother who raised you, and it was important to be a support system to her. And I know that was early on in your marriage, and you weren't in the place and space that you are now. However, a lot of us, people my age and older, are faced with opportunities where we have to care for our aging parents, or our aging grandparents, or aging aunts and people that we love. So how do you, and since you have had this experience and with the knowledge that you have now, how do you merge that with some of the things that you've shared earlier about securing your home, about securing those who were once caregivers to us, we're caregiving to them?
That's good. So what I would say, the very first thing I would say, or the very first thing that drops in my spirit, in my heart, my mind to say is roles change.
Yes.
Because I'm reminded of when I was a young girl growing up. My grandmother raised me. My mother passed when I was 9. My father was absent for a while. And so my grandmother, she was old when I was young, and she was still old when I became older. And so I watched her struggle and strain to try to take care of me and my cousin, who he was raised alongside me as my brother. And so, you know, growing up with your cousins, you raised so close together, it's like you're like sister and brother.
Yes.
And I watched her put this orange envelope or this big brown envelope on the wall, and she would stuff money in it for the insurance agent or for whomever to come around. And this Caucasian gentleman will come around and collect the money once a week or every other week. And sometimes she would collect money from family members and other neighbors, because he was really only going to make one stop on your block, and then he's going to move to the next block and make one stop in your neighborhood because you're in an impoverished neighborhood. The black, he's not going to stay long. So she would collect all of the money from our neighbors and our people in our hood, I guess, and he'd come by. And so watching her do the best she could of what was protecting her family. She thought that was her way to build wealth or protect her family. If she died when I was a little girl, she had in her mind that I was going to be able to at least bury her. Isn't that a misconception?
Yes.
That we think all we need is enough to bury our loved ones. Unfortunately, that is not enough, especially now. The cost of dying is expensive.
Yes, it
And
is.
so the roles changed because she took care of me. She did the best she could with what she had. She took lemons, she made lemonade. And then when we got married and moved her in with us, it was no doubt about it. And my husband didn't hesitate at all. As a matter of fact, when we were dating, he said, whatever you got, I'm taking you. And I said, look, I'm a package deal. I ain't got no kids, but I got a grandmama that, you know, she's got to come with me. Are you okay with that? And I think he was just so in love at the time, he didn't count up the cost. He didn't count up the cost. So we got married, and it wasn't what he thought it was going to be. Like, it all hit him in the face at once. But so the roles changed, and then I saw her being, getting sick and her health failing. So while she's raising me to be healthy and strong from weak to strength, she took care of me the best she could. And so now the roles change, and I'm trying to care from her from strength to weakness. I'm doing what I can do. And so I thank God that my husband didn't actually get into the business until after my grandmother passed. But we were able to try to save a little bit. We didn't know then what we know now. So when my grandmother passed away, she was too old for life insurance. She was too old for that. We had to get what's called a pre-need, which was a burial at the funeral home. And so it was like $3,000 at the time. And we had just started making payments on it. And so I would encourage anyone now who's caregiving for their ailing parents, or maybe you have an ailing or sick family member or friend that you're taking care of. I would encourage you now, before it's too late, before they get too old, to try to set up some type of fund on the side. If you have questions about how to do it, what's the first thing to do? We'll give you our information at the end. Please call my husband and I, and we can walk you through that. That's what we do. People think, I guess, because it's one of the things that we do is insurance. That's not all our company does. That's just one of the most important things that it does. And it's one of the things that's most needed right now in where our society is now. So many people have died in the past 2 months. Then unprecedented numbers, whether it's from coronavirus or accidents or the violence, with the crime, the racial tension that's going on, or whatever. Even if it's a terminal illness, so many people have passed away without protection. And so it's so many GoFundMe pages, and it's so many pass the plates, and in a time when even the church is at a disadvantage because the doors were not open to bury people properly. People couldn't have services. My husband was almost all day and night in the office on the phone, trying to talk to families about securing some wealth for your family, because unless the Lord Jesus makes his return soon, within the next 10 or 15 years, you're going to need something to lean back into. And if you don't have enough money laid to the side, if you don't have enough money on the side, it's going to be horrific. And it's already tragic enough to mourn the loss of a loved one. But then knowing that you don't have enough money to put them in the ground, that hurts. That really hurts, So being out, the advice I would give, the very first thing is, of course, if they're ailing, if they're terminal, if you know that their health is failing, eventually they're going to pass on. And however they're going to pass, whenever they pass, we pray that God gives them quality as well as quantity in their last days. But I would encourage you to try to make sure you have something set up to be able to care for to put them away nicely with dignity. There's a local funeral home here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast that buried my last miscarriage. Wait a minute, baby. My last miscarriage, they were so sweet to us that they buried our baby. I never thought I'd have to endure that, They buried our baby for us, and we didn't have to pay for it. But imagine them doing that for hundreds of families.
Right.
How it would put them out of business.
Right.
Yeah.
And imagine the family. Just think about it. Just your neighborhood, the street that you live on, the block, the cul-de-sac, the subdivision. Imagine if everybody in your neighborhood, all of your neighbors, were uninsured or didn't have a savings or didn't have money set to the side to properly take care of you in your final hours. And you lean back on the church, or you lean back on the funeral home. It would put the funeral home, black or white, it doesn't matter, completely out of business. They've got to pay for the caskets. They've got to pay for the undertakers. They've got to pay for the embalming. They've got to pay for whatever happened. They've got to pay to put you in the ground, to dig the hole, the box to put you in, the plot. They got to pay for somebody to plot it out. They got to pay for somebody to drop you in. They got to pay for the cement to go in. They got to. It's so much that goes into it, and we're learning this in this business. That's why we do what we do. Yes, we make commission, but we don't do it for commission. When I started learning, listening to my husband and then learning the business myself, I'm not as well versed as my husband. I am learning, but the more I listen, the more passionate I become. And it grieves me. We just buried a very close friend of mine. Unfortunately, they had no life insurance. And my husband almost begged and pleaded with this individual, protect your family. What you think you have, and he showed it to this individual, is not going to work for you. Unfortunately, they passed away. And when it was time to collect, to put this person in the ground, the insurance provider could not even give them an answer. And it was so disheartening because this individual left behind a family. Now they've got to figure out what to do, how to do it, who to call. And in such sensitive times, we all say, well, you know what, sis, call me if you need me. If you need me, I'm here for you. Don't we say that? We all say that.
Yeah.
But then when sis says, can you loan me $1,000? I got to bury my husband. And if she get $1,000 from 5 people, that's 5,000. It's still not enough.
Right.
How is she going to pay it back?
Yes.
He or she did not leave anything for them. Number one, she's got to go back to work, he's got to go back to work, take care of the family, and then she's got to pay all the bills.
Right.
So how can she pay back? So that's just another thing, to think about. That's just something to think about. That's the first thing I would say. Get out of
It's strong. I'm just getting back and replaying again. Where is that? Where it's been. So we just really want to enlighten people. Take that advantage. Take the accountability. You get really serious about what you're doing out here, family, and you can help. You can always. There's help. There's knowledge. People that I say knowledge is power, but that's incorrect. Applied knowledge.
Applied knowledge.
You better get on it and apply it to what you're doing today, so you can be better. That's all. We want to see people change that mindset, and so you'll be better. Thank God for that.
I did want one more thing to touch on, and I didn't mean to talk so long. Just a second. You talked about Beyonce leaving behind a legacy. We do know that she's an entertainer, and as Katrina said, there's ways that she builds her wealth, but she's also highly educated on how this works, how to make her money work for her, and that is investing it into a vehicle that can increase, that can blow, that can grow, that can double, triple, quadruple. And so she has no doubt, she and her husband has no doubt in their mind, because they see the numbers that their great grandkids are covered. What security is that? I mean, think about the security that you have, knowing that after you die and your children die, your great grandkids are still covered, that they don't have to be a slave to the system. My husband said something one time that I thought was profound. System stands for SYSTEM, stands for save yourself time, energy, and money.
Wow.
That you put together a system that saves you some time, energy, and money. And so I listen all the time. So I would love for maybe somebody out there that wants to know how the system will work, how to put a system in place for your own family. So my husband and I, we have 2 children. One we birthed, one we adopted. Maddie, we consider her to be ours. Although she's a good friend of the family's daughter, we practically raised her. We have no doubt in our mind that if something were to happen to the 2 of us, that the 2 of them are taken care of.
Yes.
Right.
That gives us so much comfort to know that if something happened to us, his parents and my parents don't have to scramble to try to figure out, well, what are we going to do with the house? What are we going to do about the cars? What are we going to do about burying them? You know, that's one less thing to worry about. And even if you don't trust insurance agents, or you don't trust what you think you know, at least get educated. You know,
Right.
At least get educated. Knowledge is power. Apply knowledge.
At minimum, get educated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do your due diligence at minimum.
At minimum.
Yes, Lord. Amen. Amen. This has been, oh my God, awesome, truly blessing. Oh God, I just pray that anyone that needing God to just speak over this country, this place, just the people, His people, the ones all of us He created, that we all receive these financial blessings on tonight. You gotta claim it. It's here. It's here. We just reach up and grab it. I received mine tonight.
Man.
So thank you.
Mr. Curtis, you got to leave your information, your phone, your website, all of your information, your handles, your social media handles. And LeKeisha, we're going to segue into the Gulf Coast Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards. So we need to talk about those dates. You need to give your handles, those important dates, ticket dates, deadlines, and so forth. We need to hit all of that.
Well, let me say this. If you want to reach me, I'm Curtis Cotten Jr. My cell number or my email would be, you can get me at Cotten, C-O-T-T underscore
COTTEN
underscore 53.
There go that favor. There go that favor.
That's that better half. I keep telling you. Always there to catch me when I'm falling. But hey, Cotten, COTTEN underscore 53 at yahoo.com. My cell number is 228-860-2026. And hey, we are, those are my handles right there. I am on Facebook, but you can find me on Facebook, Curtis Cotten Jr. And then again,
and Instagram as well.
Instagram as well.
I'm about to plug that.
Yes, you can find us at Instagram at We Are The THEE Cottons.
Yeah,
We Are The Cottons.
Absolutely.
So please follow us together. And of course, I'm on Facebook, LeKeisha Cotten. And that's not hard to find, and my music ministry also is there. But I just encourage everybody to connect with us, especially couples. What I love so much that my husband does in the business is he does not desire to talk to people alone unless you're a single individual. But if you're a couple, if you're married, he always says, I want to talk to you and your spouse together. So what he says is, if I have to explain to you how to do a brain surgery, how can you tell your spouse how to do it? Like, you got to bring them in on the conversation.
That's right.
So how to do? You can't explain how to do brain surgery. You got to show it.
Right.
So we encourage couples to do that. And if you just want to be a part of the movement to just educate people, maybe you don't want to do, work the business or anything, but you just want to be educated and know how to talk to your family, to educate your family. We would love for you to connect with us.
Amazing.
Yes. Amen. That's all.
So, LeKeisha, we also need to get that information about the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards. Any information that you want to share. And your website, provide your website and your social media handles as well.
Yes, so the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards is coming up this year, Saturday, September the 26th, 2020. And again,
don't want to miss it.
Please, we're working on trying to get it televised because, again, we're going to be limited with having people come into the facility. There's not enough social distancing to distance out 2,000 people, so we may not be able to do that. But we would love for you to find out more. If you'd like to find out more, about the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards, you can find us on Facebook. It's Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards. You can also find us on Instagram at Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards. You can also visit our website at www.gcgma.com. That's the acronym for Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards. Again, it's gcgma.com. If you have any questions, you can call us 662-228-6511. If you'd like to volunteer, if maybe if you'd like to sow a seed, our Cash App is $GCGMA. If you'd like to be a sponsor or sower into the music ministry, or just find out more, again, visit the website gcgma.com.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's it right there. That's it.
Our time has flown by. It has been over an hour, and I certainly have enjoyed every single moment.
Don't want to leave.
It is 8:07 p.m. and I mean, I could ask question after question after question, but we want to be mindful of the time, as well as people are going to work tomorrow and so forth and so on. But we cannot tell you how much we appreciate you for stopping by. The wisdom, the blessing of you just sharing the information with us has been overwhelming. So we thank you for that. Any closing remarks and closing prayer? Because I'm going to give you the floor.
I want to say how I appreciate you, Katrina, as my newfound sister. How we met. She just reached out to me, and the Lord led her to do it. We met at the coffee shop in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and it was a beautiful thing because I really had no expectation. It was just like, meet me for coffee or something. And I was like, okay. And when we met, we really didn't have main points of discussion. It was just a beautiful thing. We just sat there and we talked, and she gave me a word from the Lord, and it was just a beautiful thing. We were both excited about, being sisters and being friends, and then the Lord opened the door for me to do my television show, The Platform. This was 2 years ago, and she came by and she was like, I just want to serve. God is leading me in this season to serve. How can I serve you? And she said, let me do your makeup. And I was like, I can't afford you. And she was like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. And I was like, oh my God. And before she did my makeup, you guys, she prayed over me. That's one thing that I love. She prayed over me. And that was a beautiful thing. My makeup artist that I usually use, she does a phenomenal job, and she does the same. But to know that there are other women of God out there in different professions that are saved, that are carriers of the glory, that right there was a blessing. And then I got her one day. So she didn't know this. I said, I'm going to interview you. You're going to be a guest on the show. And she did. And she did. And so that was a beautiful thing to just help, share each other's platforms. Yes. And so many times she has just been led by God to pick up the phone and call me or text me and give me a word that, it just zeroes in on where I needed to go. And so I just bless God for you, Katrina. I'm so excited. Oh, yes. And then she told me about the oil. I had her on my radio show, and I was so excited to hear she was just about to launch it. So I just thank God for you and your husband, for everything, all the seeds you've sown, for the examples that you guys are living out before us, other couples. So I love you. Thank you.
I love you all too. This will not be y'all last time on here. There is so much. I feel like this interview could have been 3 hours, but I know you have your time.
We can feel it.
It's just, I know you all. I know what you have to offer. I know how you build people. I know that when I said that you are a power couple in every sense of the word, I'm not talking about this nonsense where people just limit it to money. Money is great, and we do want money. Don't get me wrong, because like you said, it is a vehicle. But caring about people, compassionate, empathy, sowing words of wisdom, just, I could go on, but thank you for joining us. So
we thank you so much, Miss Katrina. You know our story, so we thank God for you. And Jesus, this double what my wife said. I get passionate, but I know it's time is spent, but we love you, the Cottens. We are here for you, and I thank God we know you will do the same for us.
Yes.
So we appreciate you.
And give your husband our love, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And he's traveling as usual. He's a designer.
Yeah.
He's in Virginia Beach.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, look. Good.
So he's not in California this time. He's in Virginia Beach.
Right.
Well, we just speak divine protection over him.
Yes.
That God would keep him shielded and covered. And we just, rebuke all harm and danger that it shall not come against him in Jesus' name.
Yes. Amen.
Amen. Receive.
All right.
All right. Good night, everybody. We love you from the arm. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Leave.